be we're live right now. Look at that. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It's actually morning where you are, isn't it?
Yes.
Yay!
It's still morning.
This is Lisa Wilbur from New Hampshire, and that is Holly Kirby from Oregon. We're on opposite ends of the whole country here.
Yes.
So, see, that's why it's morning madness, because you're in the morning.
Yeah, that's right.
Somebody had to be. Right. I'm so happy that you agreed to be on today.
No, 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock somewhere.
It's 10. I'm so glad you agreed to be on the show today. Thank you very much. You and I know each other because of the Go-Giver.
Yes, I love that community so much.
Yeah. How did you get interested in being a part of that?
Well, I had the book, the little red book. Let me see if I have it right here. I do. And I didn't even plan that. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
The little Go-Giver book when I was just really trying to be a sponge and learn and branching out on doing my own business for the first time. And I'd never been to business school. So I was just trying to grab everything that I could. I did the Marie Forleo's B School. It was like this year-long program. But yeah, I just loved that book and that approach. And it's easy to digest, as you know. It's just kind of a nice parable. And then I don't know if I was on an email list or what, honestly, like how I found out about the actual community. I must have been on an email list. Yeah. And then it just was kind of a last minute thing. I believe it was right before New Year's last year. And I gave that as a gift to my business and myself. I'm just like, I'm going to be part of it.
That's awesome.
You know, because I need this coming into this year, which is 2022. And it has been like, you know, he always talks about wanting to give more in value than you ever receive in payment. And I feel like, yeah, that's definitely been modeled in this community. And I felt right at home right away.
Yeah, it's the amount of collaborations and stuff is amazing. It's pretty neat. Yeah. And I got in because I was talking to him about something else. And he said, hey, did you see that thing we're putting together? And I'm like, I'm in, because I know every time I need to go to another level in this business, I need to say yes to something that I didn't think about. You know, I wasn't out looking for a group to join. It came up and I went, that's a yes. Let's just make that a yes.
Yeah.
And actually, that was the same thing with the Jeff Project, because I shouldn't call it the Jeff Project, right?
The Jeff Project.
The Jeff Project. The book project with Mr. Jeff. But so I'm dying to know the details about this whole thing. You and I talked a little bit, but tell me, like, when you were in school, you didn't think, oh, you know what, I'm going to start a wine tour business.
No.
So how did that progress?
What
were you interested at the beginning?
You mean of the business school or just?
No, I mean, like when you were in high school, what did you want to be?
Oh, honestly, I wanted to be a wife and mother. And I still think that's just my very favorite thing in the whole world. That was what I wanted to be. And it was always in my heart and mind that that's what I wanted to do, is build a family. And I honestly didn't have career goals. I didn't have I didn't dream of having my own business or being an entrepreneur. There was actually a lot of things, and I'm sure other people can relate to this, that weren't in my upbringing. It just kind of wasn't in my sphere or my radar at all. One of them for me was education. We just didn't talk a lot about, going to college or anything, which is fine. It's good. And it's all good. But I kind of stumbled across that and my love of learning much later in life. And a lot of it connected to what I did do from the get-go, which was administrative. And so I ended up in an academic setting doing what I do. And kind of just by osmosis, maybe, I was around all these amazing kids that I love to mentor, and just what they were learning about. It just seemed so full of life. And I'm like, why can't I do that? So I took a couple of classes and again, discovered my love for learning. I took sports psychology. I thought that was very interesting. I took counseling, which I don't know if you've ever taken a counseling class, but you learn so much about yourself in a counseling class.
Yeah, that's scary.
Oh my gosh. It was scary, but fascinating. And I was just like, it's like, it just opened this whole new world to me. And then in that process, also my children were older by that time. Your question, I'm sorry, I'm like going all over.
No, this is exactly what I wanted to know.
Okay. So I just, when your kids are older, I feel like, at least it happened this way for me. You think like, what do I want to be when I grow up? Like we do what we need to do at the time. And that's what I did. And I had a skill set for that. I enjoyed many pieces of it. I'm not going to like take my whole like younger years and go, well, that was, no, it was great. And it, takes you somewhere. And this was my next step. And the next iteration was discovering some things like that I love to learn. And maybe this administrative isn't going to be what I do forever. And now they need me in a different way. So if I could choose something, what would that be? It was just like a question, kind of like your question about Jeff. Like, I wonder what it takes to write a book with him. And then that somehow like being in
it. Yeah.
Like this idea. And so I started being very curious, I guess, just approaching everything around me with curiosity, and took those classes. I got interested in health, and that was more of a just a timing thing as far as things happening in my family, and being kind of made aware of the fact that you don't know what you don't know. And so I wanted to learn it and get, maybe this is part of the control freak part of me. Like I wanted to get more control in that area and understand it and feel like I had more say in what happened to me. And so, yeah, I became very interested in health. I became a certified health coach. And I honestly thought that that was what I was going to maybe do. Like maybe I was put on this earth to be a health coach. That's why I was here. And I really went all in and tried to learn about it and tried to learn how to do it through this certain model. And then I kind of found out that maybe that's not what I was put on this earth to be. That's the thing too, right? When you get on this journey and there's these off ramps or these different signs that you're like,
that's awesome that you were willing to go wherever it led you instead of just trying to make yourself be one that you thought at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And like, oh, that was a bad idea. I failed. Let's go all the way back to what I know, because that's also a temptation, right? To go back to what you're familiar with and feel comfortable in and feel good at. Because I mean, that's comforting to feel like you know how to do something. And that was a whole other thing that I needed to learn and still do all the time, is the whole idea that you can make mistakes and you don't have to be, no one is amazing at something when they first start it. They're just not. And so pushing myself through these bits of not knowing what I'm doing. I don't like that feeling very much. And so
no one does. No, I don't think anyone does. That's still quite a leap from being an education or being an admin to owning a wine tour.
Yeah. And that was just what I just told you about the health coaching. All that was just a little step in there. But while I was in that open mindset piece of my journey, and this is kind of a weird connection, but it was through fantasy football that I found wine.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I know. My husband.
What's fantasy football? I don't know what that is.
You don't know what fantasy football is?
Fantasy football?
Oh my gosh, yes.
I don't know what fantasy football is.
I can't tell if the question is like, I really don't care, but I'm going to ask for my listeners' sake.
No. I genuinely don't know what it is. So
let's see if I can explain it. I feel like I have such a huge responsibility on my shoulders to explain fantasy football. It's such a good thing. Anyway, so you know how there's real football, NFL football that goes on everywhere.
You mean football like Patriots and that kind of football?
Like Patriots.
Well, I mean, I live near there. I mean, like that's football. You're not talking about like soccer, like overseas. They call that football.
No, you're right. Yes.
Football.
That's
okay.
True. That's true. Yeah. That was a legitimate question and distinction.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's NFL is what we follow, but actually people do this type of thing with basketball, any kind of pro sports. And people get into it so much, right? Being fans. Oh, you went to the baseball thing and you got like dressed from head to toe. Yeah. So these are the kind of people that would be in a fantasy football league, because they're so invested in their team that they want to actually be a part of it. So what happens is you will pick people from all the different teams to be on your team, your like fantasy team. So you'll have in all the different positions. So you'll have like a quarterback, you'll have, a line.
Oh, so you're picking who you think the best guys are.
You're having running backs, and wide receivers and all the things. And you put them on your team, and they're not all from the same team. Right. So that also kind of changes the way you watch football, because you might be rooting for someone on a team that you don't like, but you want that person to succeed, which will help your fantasy football team. So anyway, does that kind of make a little bit of sense?
Yes.
And you put people on your bench, like you're a coach of your team. So you get to put people from your bench.
It's a computer game.
Into play. Yeah. Some people do it through different like mediums. I think my husband uses Yahoo something.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
And I actually used to be in this league at the very, very onset of it. My team was called the Underdogs because I always picked people who were very short and not likely to win. And I felt sorry for them. Like, they were nice people. So we were the Underdogs, and it was fun. And then the league got really competitive, and I graciously bowed out so that level of competition could continue to soar without me in it. But yeah, so my husband has a huge fantasy football league. He's the commissioner. So he kind of leads all the things, and people come in from all over. We do a live draft during the day. So there's people that come in from California and Texas and Idaho, and we have like a 5K in the morning with t-shirts. We play all these games in the day, and they get prizes for it. We're feeding everybody, of course. At the end of the day, they do a live draft. And then there's a traveling trophy. So if you win, you get your name on the trophy, and you get to keep that for a year. There's a toilet bowl trophy. There is, as of the last 3 or 4 years, there's also, if you lose, you get your armpits waxed. So it keeps you very, very engaged throughout
that offends the men way worse than the women.
Yeah. We just all laugh. Like the wives that are there and we're videotaping, we're just dying because they're doing Lamaze breathing and trying to figure out how to, like, make the pain go away. It's so funny. Like we're all watching and videoing. It's terrible. But anyway, so this fantasy football thing that happened 7 years ago, our friends that are from Texas and California, they said, hey, you guys live right in the middle of wine country. So we live in Yamhill, Oregon, which is right in the Willamette Valley, Oregon, wine region. Mm-hmm. But Sean, my husband, and I had never even been wine tasting. And so these people suggested we'll come a day early and do a wine tasting tour. And that's kind of how it all started, because I absolutely fell in love that day. I thought it was so fun.
So did you like even drink wine before that much?
Yeah, a little. I mean, we drink wine here and there, but it wasn't like, we didn't know about wine tasting around us, and it just wasn't a thing. And then it became a thing. Like, it's really,
I mean, that's awesome that you recognized it was a thing and pursued the thing. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time that day. And the wineries here, they're just beautiful, and you just feel like you're a world away. And there's something about, for me, if people put wine in my glass, it was a love language that I didn't know existed. So it's like, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then you're like talking, you're having these great deep conversations, and you have all day together. So it's like, instead of it being so rushed and all about work or devices or whatever, you're actually engaging in conversation. There's so many things about it. And it was just beautiful and really a special time. You're just making memories. You're in the moment. And I remember when I experienced that day, it just touched a certain part of me. Like, I was like thirsty for it. No pun intended. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I didn't know it existed. And then I kind of got curious. Again, I was in that curious and open mindset. And I even started going out myself, like on days that my husband couldn't or whatever on the weekend, sending him pictures from this amazing winery and go, look what I'm doing. And he's like, oh my gosh, created a monster. And then the curiosity went a little further. And I thought, this experience, because I was thinking about that just this morning, because I knew we were going to have this conversation, and it just kind of makes you think about your beginnings in something, if you're going to need to talk about it and explain it. And I thought, had I had a terrible experience in hospitality or with these people, I probably would not have been as curious about it. It would have just been like, oh, it was a thing. But the people that we met that day, the people that took care of us, the people that extended that hospitality and that warmth, and that, like, no question is a silly question, ask us anything. The people that took care of the landscaping and created this space that made you want to stay and linger. The people that created the wine. Oh my gosh, how could I ever forget that? This gorgeous wine from the people in the vineyard to the winemakers and all the choices that went into what was in my glass. If all of that hadn't been as wonderful, and also the people that I was with that day, of course, my friends and everything, but I was thinking how they created this thing that made me want to be a part of it. And even when I went myself later, and I continued to consistently meet these and so then I started the next question, kind of like your question with Jeff, what does it take? I was like, I would like to give this experience to other people. And I know nothing about wine. I know nothing about hospitality. This is not even in my wheelhouse. So I just thought, yeah, I'd like to do this. So I kind of go ahead.
Well, when you went with the friends of yours, did you go on a tour, or you just picked places out yourself?
No, we went on a tour.
Okay. So it was a tour guide that knew the places already.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And they did an amazing job of introducing us to the places and people that they knew in the industry, and making us feel taken care of, almost like you have this fast friend with you in the car. See, that's really important too. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because they are wonderful. I still have a great connection with them, and they tease how it's their fault that I'm in the wine industry now. In a way, it kind of is.
Created their own competition. They did.
I keep telling them we're not competing. We're not. There's plenty to go around.
There's so big of a assortment of.
There's plenty to go around, and I'm going to continue to have that mindset and choose to have that mindset. Abundance, I will not look at other people as my competition, because everybody's going to bring their own thing to this valley, and how they introduce people to it with the tourism industry. And yeah, I'm actually thankful. I have a lot of really great friends in the industry that we've kind of locked arms, and we're helping each other because we're all small, and it's just, it's me and one vehicle. So if I can't accommodate a tour, we're able to refer to each other. So I really do appreciate that, that kind of camaraderie. And that's very indicative of what I observe the Oregon wine industry to be, is so collaborative and so, like, leaning on each other is really special. That's part of why I wanted to be a part of it. I think if it was another way, I wouldn't have been. I mean, I might have wanted to kind of make a difference, because you know how you've got that cape, that captain.
The captain.
I've had friends who know me really well over my life, and if they ever watch this, you know who you are, that called me from Planet Make a Difference.
Oh,
it's like
that's really, you're a go-giver. You're from Planet Make a Difference. That's
awesome. A blessing and a curse, though. I tell you, you have to know when that's even warranted. It's like not every time I see something wrong do I go da, da, da. I don't need to do that every time. It's probably not healthy. So anyway. But yeah,
I was impressed on your site too, is that you have it so that somebody could, like, fly in, and you have partner hotels and things set up, partner things that you're working with. Did you contact those hotels? Is how you got that set up?
Yeah. So at the very beginning, which was 2021, basically in the spring, much of my business and building my business for me, because I had driven for another company before that for a couple of years. So I already knew I loved this service and the way of providing the wine tour guide service. But the business piece and owning your own business and deciding what you want that to look like, that was all brand new. So yeah, I went and met with a lot of the different hotels and the Airbnbs and the bed and breakfast in the area, and tried to build relationships, see kind of, it's good to just be kind of face to face, so they know if when they meet their guests, is this person going to be a fit for them? Or even if they send out information ahead of time and say, when you come into town,
that's very smart. Very smart.
You're looking for this and this. Yeah. So I did already build
relationships. Back up just a second. You said you drove for another company. So you were a tour guide for another tour company. That's so smart. You didn't just go from being a customer to a business owner. You worked the business as a tour guide. That's smart.
That's true. And that was kind of part of the serendipitous journey too, because I started in the wine industry very part-time, in tasting rooms, just learning about wine, learning about how to take care of people that way. I tease and I say I'm making a lot of mistakes, and I didn't die, which was news to me. I thought I would die if I made but that was really fun, and getting to know. And I was working with kids my kids' age, and it was very weird but good and humbling and everything all at one time. But I was choosing it. You know what I mean? It's like I'm choosing to learn about this brand new industry and this brand new thing, and I'm not going to be great at first, and I need to learn all these things. It's like I was thinking it's like getting an old rusty car moving again, because if you have mastery in something over here, it's not that you don't think. I mean, you think, but you're used to your routine and you know how to do things. When you're starting something brand new, it's like everything has to come to bear in order to absorb the information, and how do I like apply it and all that. So I felt a lot of those growing pains during my exploration. But see, I was trying to be safe too. Like, so I had my very part-time jobs on the weekends at a winery, and then still had my administrative during the week. So I didn't completely jump in, but
almost everyone has to do that.
Yeah.
That's smart. If you're paying your own bills, you have to do that.
Yeah.
So that's smart to do that. I mean, I think. Yes. I think many people think they can just make the switch like a light switch and go from person to a business owner, and that's a lot. And then if it doesn't work out, they think it's because they weren't a fit, when in reality you almost can't just jump in. That's like getting thrown in the lake and expect yourself to swim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The first time. I don't think that's
and I think I was learning to trust myself too, if that makes sense, because just because I was curious about something and I loved it didn't mean that maybe I'm supposed to be doing it, but I think I am. You know what I mean? So I had to kind of try it and discover and learn if this was truly the path. And I should mention too, this whole time where I'm like trying to find myself, my husband, my family was so supportive, and yes. Without that, I don't know where I'd be. But they were completely supportive and saw the timing in it, and and not just like you go and not really help, but they like put action to it too.
Yeah, I talked to Hannah. So at what point, Hannah is your daughter, and she's awesome. But at what point did you start involving your family in the business?
I think when I think I brought it up to Hannah probably before I actually launched. So it was probably December of it. It was like right before I was going to actually launch it, because I didn't know if I was going to have her be on my team or if I was going to have someone else, or if I was going to need to do it. But in my mind, I thought this could work. And so I brought it to her. But my husband, I think even before that, because I needed him in so many ways to help me like think, is this going to work for our family and financially? And how are we? He helps me flip the car, if that makes sense. He helps me like wash the car all the time, because Flexi. She's our vehicle. She's Ford Flex. Her name is Flexi, and she's so cute and beautiful. But she's got to be so clean, like every single time. In my mind, with my conviction of this, I know I've appreciated when I'm in, getting in someone's car for this type of a service, not just anybody's car. You know what I mean? When it's like, it needs to feel like you're the first person getting in there. Like it's all clean. It smells nice, plenty of space. I mean, if it was all, I don't know if you've gotten in Ubers or other things like that.
When it wasn't good, I have, yes.
Yeah, I've seen the gamut, and the ones that smell good and like are clean and all of that, you're just like, oh, I feel good about this. Like this is part of the experience. I mean, they're going to get paid either way, right? But
you want repeat business and referrals, and the only way that happens is if you pay attention to the details like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so she's immaculate every single time, and Sean helps me with that. We have a system like of who cleans what and how and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Even at the end of his workday when he's tired, never complaining, he just gets out there, does it, puts his earbuds in, and it's really cute. Like when I come out, like I don't have to have music on. I don't know about you all the time when I'm doing stuff, but he loves it. And it's so cute. When I'll come out, he'll take one of his out and give it to me, and we're both listening to this and cleaning and stuff. And I'm like, oh, cool. He's so nice.
That's so awesome. Well, and it's awesome too that he's letting you do something that you're passionate about, and you know what I mean? Because I think it's hard on a partner sometimes when one person is really wanting to do something and make a business or make a difference or both, and the other person has to sacrifice some too, whether they meant to or not. So that's awesome that he wants to. Yay.
I love that you said that. Make a business or make a difference or both.
Yeah.
They've always needed to be both for me, but I love that distinction because.
Yeah. Well, I've had to work places where I just had to make it work for the money. But not now. Yeah, now I'm doing both, right? I think you have to get to that point in your life, though. Everybody can't do that. By the way, hi, Teresa, and hi, Kathy. We have
Is there someone here?
If you look on comments, if you click on comments, we can't see them from both places it streams, I think. So I think we only get to see maybe the Facebook ones. I don't think we get to see the LinkedIn ones until after we get off. So when you get off of it,
I'm so excited. We have people here.
I just spent time with Teresa yesterday. We were at a rally in Massachusetts and had some fun. Yay. Yeah, I haven't even looked at, they do have wine tour stuff in this area. Not my area, but close by in another state. Because I've heard other friends doing that. But that's not something
Have you ever been on a wine tour? Never?
No. Okay. Now I want to do it because
I
want to fly to Oregon and do it.
I have 2 requests. First of all, I want you to do it for sure. And okay. I want you to film it.
Oh.
At least take some video here and there.
You know what we got to do? We got to talk Jeff into this adventure. That's what
oh my gosh, it would be so
live stream the whole thing or something. He's going blue haired pretty soon. We'll have the blue hair wine tour going on. That's what we'll do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Great Flexi all blue.
Yeah. Right. He doesn't yet realize, and you might, I don't want to assume anything, but you might realize that when you color your hair, it's not a cut and dry, you're this, and then you can go right back kind of deal.
Yeah, no.
I get the feeling.
The little bit.
I did tell him that you can get the one that's not permanent, which is even permanent. So is only like a 4 or 5 week thing, but I didn't tell him the temporary isn't easy to get out.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. He's probably going to listen to this and go, "Oh, what is she doing to me?"
I guess you could get like a wig, not a wig, but
that's what he was saying. I'm like, oh no. If I have to do it,
you have to do it. That color though I think is very fun and becoming, and
it's fun. It's just this is still a good color because I'm only a couple weeks in, but I usually my other color, which is not my natural color either, I'm usually more red. That I can go about 5 weeks, and this is more like 4. Because a couple more washes and it's going to not look like I like it. This is about the way I like it.
Yeah.
So
and then you'll have to do it again and not get it all over everything.
Well, and it does it too. Yeah, I kind of mentioned that lately. I'd forgotten about that part myself. But like my pillowcase is all blue.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
everything is all blue everywhere.
yes. You get reminded of your success everywhere you look. Big
Yeah.
blue. The
That
lady with
it's
the
funny
blue
that that's a serendipity thing too, how we ended up doing this. It was
hair.
just about a comment he made on the Go Giver Success Alliance.
Really? What was
Yeah. Oh,
what
you
was
didn't know that part. So
that?
we were on, you can tell me if you felt the same way, but when I first went on the Success Alliance Zoom calls, I was a little bit intimidated because it's architects, lawyers, accountants, very professional people, a lot of book authors. I happen to know Bob, so he didn't intimidate me, but he's a very successful man too. And I'm sitting there with blue hair because at that I wanted blue hair once in my life, and I just decided it was going to be that time. So I happened to have blue hair when we started in the group.
Oh.
And, so I made a joke of it. I said, if you want to be less judgmental, dye your hair blue. Because I'm telling you, I go down to the grocery store and I see a lady in a tight skirt, and I'm thinking, man, that lady's got a tight skirt, said the lady with the blue hair.
Oh my gosh, I wondered what that all started from. I love it.
Right. And Jeff
Yeah,
put
so
in the
that helps you kind of
comments,
look at yourself with,
well,
sense of
how can
humor,
I
like,
say anything about anybody else? I'm sitting here with blue hair. So,
yes.
right. But in the comments, Jeff was on that first call too. And Jeff wrote, you should write a book with that title. And at first, I didn't take it serious. And it was a year later that he came to me and said, let's really do that. Let's not just talk about it. Let's just actually do it. And when he first said it, I didn't think that much about it because I've never written that kind of book. I've been in a lot of books, but they've been more like education books or
And
nonfiction.
is this like this person in your book? Is it like a lady with the blue hair that kind of gives advice or little
Yeah,
quips?
she mentors a mentee, but I'm not necessarily that lady. But how he explains it, which I love, is there's parts of both of us in all the characters.
Oh, I love
So
it. Yeah.
we sat there on Zoom calls telling each other stories, and then he wrote the parable
Oh
based
my
on the stories we
gosh.
told. So some of the stuff
Oh,
is
it's a
his
behind
life,
the
some of
scenes
the
thing.
stuff
I
is
didn't
my
know.
life. Yeah, it's just kind of a neat thing how that happened. But serendipity, that's absolutely what happened. Yeah.
Yes.
At the beginning of this year, if someone had said to me, you know what, you're going to be in a parable with a co-author. And the other thing I did that was so weird is I produced a local community play, and I'm not even into that. I produced a play and I'm in a parable
Right.
with a co-author. Both those things I never would have had on my list of things that I thought I would do this year. So
And yet you said yes.
that's the thing. You probably heard me say that on the thing on the group call is my thing now is say yes more often because these two things have turned out fabulous so far. And it was just a matter of I hesitated for a second and I went, this is one of those things. I just got to say yes and let it sort itself out. Because I could have said, I'm not qualified for this, or I've never done that before, or I
Mhm.
can't believe, like with Jeff, I couldn't believe he was asking me because he's a much bigger deal than I am. I mean, he was on Bob's Legends show and everything. And instead of second guessing all of that, I just said yes.
Have you
So,
found yourself asking the question, I wonder what it takes to be on Bob's Legends show?
oh, I don't think I'm quite that caliber yet, but I'm working on it. I think I gotta prove my legendariness. Pretty sure.
Oh, I feel like you're pretty legendary already.
Oh, well, thank you very much. But so, you know what I wanted to hear more about is how are you getting the word out? Because that's my niche in life is getting more people know what I do. So I'm kind of hoping that you could share with us because the people listening to this and listen to the recording, they're in the same boat as I am as business owners. The
Yeah.
whole trick is get enough people to know what you do and you can be successful in anything. So what do you do to get more people to know what you do?
So, At the beginning, I would say it was the networking, kind of building relationships with other people in the wine tourism industry. And that could be anywhere from lodging to restaurants to wineries to
So you
even
could do referrals back and forth. That was the
So it was more about like introducing myself like face to face, so people knew who I was. Excuse me, just a moment. So that was one thing, and then another couple of things at the beginning was, of course, the website, which I still feel like, at least for what I do, I mean, it's your storefront. It's there all the time, even when you're kind of not there, but it's there when people are ready to look for you. So the content, the things you want to say, the things you want to offer in this really pretty format. And for me, I used Wix, and I felt like it was pretty. I mean, everything's a little tricky in regard to building websites. I chose to want to do it myself so that whenever I did,
I didn't know you did that yourself. That's awesome.
And everything, Hannah helped me with like I would run content by her, or how does this page look? So we both kind of did it together, but we did it through the Wix tutorials and how you do it and everything.
Why don't you tell, is there a site, is that Wix, W-I-C-S? I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, W-I-X.
W-I-X, okay, Wix. And it's Wix.com for people that want to try that.
That's just who I did a lot of research, and that's what I chose for me. That looked like it would be the best for me. And it has templates that you can start with.
Nice.
And update and add pages and change the look and all that. And then I wanted to know how to do it on the back end, so I didn't always have to depend on someone else.
Nice.
But that may not be for everyone, right? Someone else, it might be better for use of their time to hire someone to do it. It just was my path. So
direct sales, they don't have to do that anyway, because they get replicated sites from the company.
Yeah.
But
so that, and then also I wanted to have somewhat of a social media presence, and my daughter helped me with that like tons. I'm like, I love it if you did that. You're just good at that. So Instagram is kind of our main thing, and then she'll usually copy whatever's on there to Facebook, and it's connected to her Facebook. And then the other thing I did this year that I thought I want to give a big shout out to is there's this organization called the Willamette Valley Wineries Association.
Nice.
And their website is Willamette Valley Wineries Association.com. And they're just an amazing hub of information and resource for not only their members, but people wanting to, like, they have a very robust website that will come up on SEOs and stuff. And if you want to plan your visit to the Willamette Valley, they have everything on there from, lodging to like, where should I eat? What should I expect when I go? Like, what are some transportation companies? So on their side of it, when they come in, it's so much value add right there, and the different seasons around here, and what will you find? You can even search by varietal. I'm looking for this type of, wine. I'm looking for family friendly. I'm looking for dog friendly. I'm looking for people who are salmon safe or live certified. Like so many different things. Like, do they allow outside food? Where's the music? Where's the live music? So everything's right there. So I already knew that they were huge as far as the value add that they give to people who visit, but I didn't realize what a value add to the members, the people that are actually members of theirs. And so so that's another way I get the word out, because I end up on their website, when they come and search, and depending on your interaction and the kind of deals that you create for people, the kind of offerings, if you change up the pictures often, things like that, you can kind of roll up a little bit on that search thing. And also you can be on Lunch and Learns. They have weekly calls with information, which for me, I think is very helpful. Like, there's different events that have happened, like with the fires or with the frost, and to know how to talk about it, because I'm customer facing. There's a lot of people with me and in the car from different places. And it's good to know how to speak about these things intelligently, and making sure that the messaging across all of us, because it's so important. Protecting a vintage in people's mind is very important. So if you're saying, oh man, like, 2013, you don't want any wine from that vintage because blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you don't want that. You want people who, if there was an obstacle, if there was some type of an event that affected the fruit or the quantity of wine or whatever, you want to be able to talk about it in a way that's, and also it's such a wide area here that there's differences in the different AVAs, American viticulture areas, as far as how it was even, how it even fleshed out in the wine in the first place. So to say something about a vintage and throw it in this big bucket isn't. So anyway.
How did you know enough to get in that organization to start with? What made you think to do that?
I went there myself a lot to do research for my tours. And so I would go on there, and then they have this membership page. And then I clicked over there. I'm like, that sounds interesting. And I sent an inquiry. Someone like responded to me like right away and was willing to go on a call with me and show me what that would look like, what the benefits of membership are, and things like that. I couldn't do that my first year. It was just a little more than I could do at the first year, but I totally feel like that has helped a lot. And it's time. A lot of it is time and just building relationships every time you're out there and you're talking to someone.
But so when you were thinking, I'm going to do this business, this is what I need to know. Did you go, where should I look to find this information out? Did you like Google search and know, oh, here's an organization that does that?
Oh, that's a good question. How did I find them?
I was just thinking the thought process.
I think I probably ran across it by just a search that anyone would do. Like I probably had a guest that said, hey, I really like Sauv Blancs. And here in Oregon, we're kind of known for Oregon Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. And maybe I wasn't familiar with that from when I was driving, because I also wasn't creating the itineraries. I wasn't building the itineraries when I was guiding for the other company. So I was like, probably looked up like which wineries have Sauv Blanc. And then it probably sent me to Willamette Valley Wineries. I'm just guessing, but I think that's how I ran across them.
No, that's perfect, because now even though a lot of the people listening are from different kinds of businesses, right? They need to know the thought process. When a customer asks you something, what do you do about it? Do you just say, I don't know, and just walk away? Or do you Google search?
Ask Google.
Yeah, ask Google, and then you keep following down the rabbit hole, and you lots of times find something that's going to help with the other questions that you haven't been asked yet. So that's perfect.
Who's squeaking over there?
Oh, no, that's the dog. Sorry. That's the dog playing with the dog toy.
He really likes that dog toy. He's finding so much joy in that dog toy right now. I can hear it. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, his nervous habit of... Yeah, I it's like when you had toddlers, you can tone that out. So I no longer even hear the squeaking. I'm so sorry. I'm just happy it's not barking. Right? Because he doesn't always bark, but when he does, it's about nothing. He does. Right. It's about a squirrel in the yard or someone's out front or so. And that's bound to happen here eventually. So
yes. You'd be like, hold on just a moment.
Yeah, so we have to Jeff and I have to record the book for the audio thing. And so I'm thinking, how am I going to do that without having squeaking or barking or so I'm going to like be in my closet with 2 sets of doors shut. Thinking perhaps I can muffle it.
Either that or you might have to rent some studio space.
Well, I thought about that too.
Get in here and get your head just like
too. Yeah, so it depends.
Maybe less distracting for you. You could get more done quickly. I don't know.
Right. I just got to find, and I've got word on the street that I need that too. So could end up being that too. So
so exciting.
I don't do that with Monday Morning Menace because I'm being real.
Yeah.
Don't give her away.
That's right.
Welcome to my real
open.
Oh, no, I just think that's fascinating that you pursued that to the point of what you're doing and that you're so open to learn about it. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That is
I love
awesome.
Learning about it. There's always more to learn about wine. There's always more to learn about people. There's always more to learn about how to take care of different types of people. but I definitely, I love learning about wine. So
you must have backed up when you were first going, because the fact that you know enough or thought it through enough to detail your car after every person because of your experience of wanting to have that when you get in a car. So you must have sat there and thought through the whole experience that the customer is going to have and decided what you could do to make their experience the best it could be.
I try to do that. I do that even still, because there's always like, it's everything, right? It's from your first contact with them, the way that you treat them through either a phone call, a text, an email, how you speak to them. And it comes from that like first customer touch all the way to the aftercare. But every little thing we do, I feel like it matters. And then like when they finally do decide, hey, yeah, I'm going to take a tour, and I'm going to take a tour with Serendipity. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like we won the lottery, right? Like they could have picked so many other people and they chose me. So how can I like, just help facilitate them really making memories, which is what I loved so much from my experience. And then I think about all the little things that I do and the things that I want to get. The thing is, I do want to like give away the world. Like I seriously just want to give all the things. And so sometimes I got to like pull it back or find a creative way that I still get my way and I still get to give them this thing, but it makes sense with the business. And that's where my family helps me out. So like creating packages or something. But anyway, so it's like I make sure that they're hydrated, right? So what kind of waters do I give them? And at the beginning, and this is personal, and it's not like it's not a judgy thing at all. This is just me thinking through my values and how can I, do something for them. Because
excuse me,
when you have a business is that you get to put your stamp on something. You get to you don't have to do things exactly the way everyone else. You can do it according to.
Sorry,
but it's okay. Are you okay? I want to come help you, but you're too far away. Okay. So I'll get you some water. No, but like, I gave like plastic bottled waters, like single-use plastic. And what's funny is, you know what you know, and you do the best with what you know at that time. And as you learn more, you may want to make a different choice. And for me, that's what happened. Like I saw some special on
excuse me,
use plastic. So I was like, man, it'd be great to find a water bottle that I can give away that's made out of something else. And so I did find one, and that was local too. That was made from aluminum, which is endlessly recyclable. And as I'm saying this, if you were to come to my house and go through everything, I have plastic everywhere. I'm not saying that. I'm just like, there's a lot of,
well, and what can you do?
Yeah,
you don't have to do it all. You can just do what you can do. Yeah.
And so that was like a small way. And so that's something that I'm always going to give. So it's like, how can I do that in a way that makes them, and they're really pretty, bottles, and they're,
do they have your logo on them?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
No. It's that brand, which I also, here's another thing that I love about my business is that I can partner with other people and brands and things like that and give exposure to them, and like partner with them and be like, hey, this cause and this mission is amazing. I believe in them. And so I wanted you to have exposure.
Oh, nice.
So I think that's really cool too. So this particular water is one of the examples of that. And then there's other little things that I could tell you, but I don't want like ruin the surprise of all the things that I do, because you and Jeff are going to be like taking a tour with me.
Coming there.
But I think of all these ways, like,
well, no, having little surprises for your customers is part of the that's part of the service.
I like to do that. Yeah. And then there's other ways too. I just don't know if I should tell you everything, because then you won't be like, when it happens for you. But I try to think of all the ways that I can make it extra special. And facilitate a great time. I personally like to walk my guests into each place and not just like, open the door, and be like, okay, I'll see you at the end. I mean, that's not the kind of service I provide. I'm a guide, but I'm also like introducing and connecting really great people to really great people. So the handoff, so to speak, is really important. Like I'm bringing them in, they're in a new place that, and I'm introducing them to the people that I know here and telling them who they are, and they're celebrating a birthday or whatever. And they are from New Jersey and they love blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, you're in really great hands. And then they get to go off and have their experience. And I think that people really appreciate that. And I know I do when I'm in a new area. You just feel like you're taken care of during the whole.
No, and I think for the people listening, is if you're doing some business like I am in direct sales, don't think that this doesn't apply to you, because if you have customers, it certainly does. If you're in any kind of business and you're dealing with customers, you can make your experience extra special by paying attention to the details, just like she is doing. It may not be exactly the same detail, but it absolutely is the same. That's awesome.
Yeah. And listening too. And my form of listening from the beginning might be different than yours, but I send out like a tour planning questionnaire. So I'm trying to get to know,
well, that's awesome.
Quality of questions really matters. And I know that I can always upgrade my questions, but I get a good amount of information from those questions. And then they're able to feel listened to. Like there's so many ways to experience the Willamette Valley. There's so many ways to, there's different goals. And if someone is planning your day and doing the concierge piece of all of those things, and they don't know what it is you're looking for, it makes you feel a little uncomfortable. So that's important. Just listening. And there may be different ways that people do that in their businesses, but that's one of the ways that I do. And sometimes I'll get on a phone call if people would rather have, hear my voice, before they get in the car with me. That's all good too. But yeah.
So what are your plans going forward? Just bigger and better, or constant learning? I know that's probably part of it.
Yeah, I think constant learning. Honestly, every time I think about bigger and better, because it feels like the natural progression of what's next when you open a business, I'm not really getting anything in my head. Like, I don't know if that's, I think for now, it's just continuing to do what I love to do and I get so much joy in doing right now, and making it that much more special for the people. And also, this business, believe it or not, has been a huge forum for me to get to know the other people in the Oregon wine industry and to hear their hearts, and to I do like a serendipity spotlight when I do my e-newsletter sometimes, and being able to ask them
smart. That's smart.
Yeah,
and anyone could do that too. That's the smart thing. The newsletter.
Well, it is a smart thing, and along with that, I should put this out here. I said that I was going to do it every month, and I have not done it every month, but that doesn't mean that I will not. I will give myself grace. The last one I did was in May. So my monthly e-newsletter.
Oh, you do call it second season. See, I did that. I took a break from Monday Morning Madness, and when I came back, welcome to season 2.
Okay, I'll use that. Thank you for that.
Welcome to season 2 of my newsletter.
I needed that. Yeah.
No one even questioned it.
To give it a refresh and to maybe change it, because I did like pack so much into each one, like different sections. I do like what my childlike ponderings were, and then I do like a curiosity corner, and then I do a serendipity spotlight, then I do a serendipity news, and then I do, and so each thing was a lot of information, and it was fun. It's good. I love it. And it keeps me in a vision board, all these things. And it was like also transparency, but I just didn't, I didn't.
It was hard to keep coming up with stuff.
Mm-hmm. So maybe I will segment it out and do like one thing per, I don't know. But I love that. I'm going to do season 2.
Season 2.
Yeah.
You don't think anything about it when that happens on TV, right? Or like Netflix. Well, they're not on right now, but they'll be back with another season here pretty soon.
Brilliant. Yeah. And not only that, but we take that all the time, all these cliffhangers, right? We're like, how can you do me like this? And it's not like anybody's feeling like that with my TV.
Welcome to season 2. Yeah. Oh, Kathy says, I love season 2. You know, when I first started doing Monday Morning Mazzes, I sat here for an hour and just talked myself.
You did?
I didn't have guests on. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm surprised everyone didn't get sick of that, but right.
Well, it's hard to get tired of you. You're very fun and have a lot to say. And...
Oh, I could find some people that beg to differ with that. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, no, that's been fun. Do you have I don't know about you. I didn't want to project onto you about me, but I have education goals for the year, like how many workshops I intend to do, how many books I intend to read, stuff like that. I'm assuming you probably do too because of your emphasis on learning, or you just do whatever feels right for you.
You know, maybe I should have education goals.
I just find if I don't do that.
No, I mean, that's interesting. I don't.
I budget the money to attend so many, like the convention I'm going to in November is part of my budgeted thing. I'm in that company, but it's not my main money earner. But I go because they always have really good speakers and it's always a really good vibe in the room. So I'm actually, it's kind of like going to someone else's convention, but it's just awesome. And it's not in my regular industry, which is perfect because I see all kinds of different stuff when I go. They have a whole other spin on it. That's the whole idea. Last year's big thing was I saw somebody, you know, when you go to a baseball game or football game anymore, they make you carry a see-through backpack or a see-through bag. They had the line of products that this company sells in a see-through backpack on his back with a QR code for his website in the little window.
Oh my gosh.
That was so perfect. It was like really so cute.
Everywhere he goes, he's like,
yeah, and he's not even having to say anything. He's like carrying around a showcase with him.
That's right.
Right. And I hadn't thought of that. I thought that was cute. That was awesome. But I always see some new stuff like that. And
no, I love that. And honestly, so there is like, I want to come to, I don't know what it's called, but the Go Giver thing that's in Jupiter, the
mastermind.
I do want to do that. It's on my radar. I don't know exactly when. As far as like reading the books, I have like different books all the time, not just about wine, but about business and leadership. That's really important to me. And though in 2 years, 2024, and this will be educational, I'm going to go on my first trip ever out of the country, and we're going to go to France with two owner of a winery, a French winemaker. They take a group every year, and they're going to go in 2024, and we're going to go with them. We paid the deposit. We're talking about it. So it's real.
Oh, that's awesome.
So besides just, traveling the world with Rick Steves every night, shout out to Rick Steves. We get to actually get a stamp in our passport, and it's educational, and it's the connection with Oregon wine and French in the 45th parallel, and all the French winemakers coming this way, and all of that. I mean, it's gonna like, oh my gosh, like just blow my mind. And so yeah, I'm
budgeting to look forward to, though.
Yes,
that's awesome. Kathy Graham said I'm on season 60 of myself. Oh, you know what? I don't know if you saw that on a show Jeff and I were on. He actually thought I was way younger than I am. Either that or he was just saying that.
Oh, is this your way of asking my age?
Oh, no, I don't think so. We're not all messing up to that.
It's funny.
No.
No, we're not.
I was just like so thrilled he thought I was younger than I was. I'm like, I think I love you. Yes. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. Anytime someone guesses younger, I'm all for that.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, okay, love you. You're my best friend now.
So we're down to the last minute. I did want to ask you the all-time great question that I ask all my guests.
What is it? I don't know.
Brownies, cookies, or caramels. I send my guests a gift for being on the show.
Oh,
I use send out cards actually.
brownies.
Brownies, and that
That's
is
easy.
actually their number one bestseller, the fudge brownies. So I will
Mm.
send you brownies. That's awesome.
Thank you.
And did you want to leave us with some information? I know they can visit your website. Instagram is at Serendipity Wine Tour.
It's Serendipity Wine Tours with an S.
Okay.
We just want to confuse everyone. So with an S on Instagram, and then if you go to the website, no S. So it's Serendipity Wine Tour, onetour.com. But yeah, and would love to talk to anybody who wants to reach out or ask questions. If you're interested in visiting here in Oregon, I would love to either be that person for you, or I'm happy to connect you with some of my other wonderful.
What a fabulous anniversary trip to go to Oregon to do a wine tour.
I have a couple tomorrow that's celebrating their retirement.
Oh, that's perfect.
But yeah, anniversary, birthday.
And also, if you're listening, I know a lot of people that are working at corporations. If you're looking to give a gift to a top performer, a lot of times they're looking for that type of thing. That would be perfect for that too.
For sure.
That's awesome. Well, that is
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Me.
So everybody, I'm supposed to tell who's coming next week. Let me tell who's coming next week. Next week, I have Leslie Bennett. She is my, I don't know if you know her. She's my hero. Shiro. She wrote a book called The Feminine Mistake, and it's about being self-reliant, independent, whether or not you have a partner, so that if you're ever in that position, you can take care of yourself. And I love the book. I love her. She's awesome. And she's going to be on the show next week. So that should be fun.
That's wonderful. Lisa, you're awesome. You really are.
Well, thank you so much for being on. And stay right there. I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'll chat with you just for a second, okay? Thank you, everybody. See you next week.